So welcome back to part 2, which is how to install an EA. Now on the chart we've got this navigator window which includes a little twisty for expert advisors. MetaTrader comes with a couple of very simple sample ones which I don't suggest you use on a live account, but this is where we're going to put our REA, in this case Exploding Fish 2. Now the first thing to understand is that when you add in an EA, for it to be visible you have to close down MetaTrader 4 initially. So if we close it down, and we've got our EA here, so literally all I'm going to do is copy it and then go into File Manager, go into where are we? So let's with test3, which is a folder we put our MetaTrader in. We're now going to go into the Experts tab, and this is where, if you remember, we saw those two before. Well, this is where we're going to place our current one. So we literally just paste it in like this, so Exploding Fish 2. And then to start MetaTrader again, if we just go into the test3 folder or wherever you put MetaTrader, and then click on the terminal here, it should start up MetaTrader again, and there we go. And that delightful ringtone tells you that it started. And if we now look in Exploding Fish, sorry, in the Expert Advisor, we can see Exploding Fish. So to add it to the chart, we simply left click and drag it on, and it comes up with a box with two tabs, and both of these tabs are important. The first one is, and the first mistake we'll make, and I deliberately won't click this just so you understand what happens when you don't click it, is the Allow Live Trading for the EA. So I'm going to leave that alone at the moment. On the Inputs tab, this is where we set up for any individual EA the data that's required. So I'm going to turn this to be true because we want it to trade live. I'm going to enter the key which I received when I ordered the EA. I'm going to enter the amount I want to risk per trade. So in this case I'm going to risk, because it places 4 trades at any one time and I want to risk a total of 2%, the risk per trade is 0.5%. I'm going to leave everything else as standard, so I don't want it to trade in August, I don't want it to close trades out on Friday evening, the fish are going to explode, I want it to draw the breakout box, I want it to play a sound when a trade opens, everything else is exactly the same. And the click, I'm going to actually, I'll save this. And the reason I'm going to save it is if I ever need to reload the EA again, rather than having to remember what the key is and everything, I can just reload the settings. Click OK, and up here you get the fact that the EA is running. You get some messages over here. First thing to notice is that this has got a sad face, and the reason it's got a sad face is because we didn't tick that live trading box. So the EA is running, but it won't trade, it won't place trades. The other button you might come across is this button here, which is basically a stop-start button for all EAs. So if I click it, that will stop all EAs trading, and you can see it goes to a cross. I click it again, and it'll start them up again. In order to access the EA, if I just left-click on the smiley face or the sad face, I get this box back. So I can change the inputs, but also I can click this Allow Live Trading box, and you'll now see we've got a smiling face. And for an EA to be loaded, this needs to be a smiling face, and there's a message from the EA here, which if I put in the wrong passcode would say something like wrong key. Sorry. So just to summarize again, the two most common mistakes are not pressing that button so you get a cross. It's just saying no EAs will trade, and this box here not being checked. So assuming that's alright, we can now assume that the EA is running, and in this case it happens that it's opened in the middle of a box, so it might even place a trade if we're lucky. But I'm going to pause that there. If you've got a smiley face there, and if you haven't got an error message there, then your EA is running. One final thing, there are two tabs down here, an Experts tab and a Journal, and this is where any error messages go. So in the expert tab, it's telling us at this time exploding fish was initialized with the various settings. It was loaded and then initialized. The de-initialized just meant I went into it and came back out again. And again on the journal tab, it's telling me that we logged in and that we've loaded an EA. And sometimes if you get questions about why didn't the EA place a trade, it's quite often that one of these two tabs will contain the answer, and it may be that your broker's server was down, or one of the settings is wrong, so the broker rejected it. But just keep an eye on those two tabs. So in summary, your EA is loaded, you've got a smiley face. By clicking on the smiley face, you can see the settings that you've put in there, so you can change your amount at risk. You're all ready to go. So we'll come back after this and look at how we would go about back testing this EA.